Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we're going to talk about my recent request that I received from my client. So the client requirement is how to rename existed dimension attribute. That is the one thing. And second thing is he want to rename the dimension attributes with using the special characters. And that's his requirement, right? So normally, if we take the analysis service, the multidimensional cube, right? So by the way, all these changes he has to do it in the multidimensional cube. But when you're trying to do the, you know, let's say you take the seller geo dimension, right? I want to rename the seller geo code, right? So with seller geo code with special characters, let's do like this and then deploy the cube. So when you're trying to deploy the cube, so it will get failed. So you can see here uh, under the deployment progress, you see the error message, right? So it's stating that the special characters are not allowed in the under the attribute dimension attribute names. That is the error we're getting. But the client want to rename this particular. Not only this, you want to rename the many columns like this. That is the one problem. Second problem is, after all, I do handle the special character, then I deploy the cube. I don't know how many users are using the old attribute names, right? So there might be the some people might be using the MDX query by having the you know old attribute names, right? So those scenarios, if I go ahead and rename here, then it's a problem, right? Some of the reports will get failed. Whoever used the MDX queries, their reports will get failed because of the rename of this dimension attribute. But however, this problem is not there when the user is using the Excel reports, because as soon as they refresh the cube will update the new names in the Excel file. But how do we handle the situation in my scenario? Okay, so how I handle it, I will explain this video. Okay, so the first thing, how to rename the existed dimension attribute. Okay, so now what we need to do in this such scenario, so you can don't change anything here. Okay, let's keep the old name, seller geocode. That will be my old name. I'm not going to change anything. So instead of changing here, I'm going to translation. This is the translation tab. Under this, I will do the translation. So when I click this option, translation option, then I go to I choose the English United States. Okay, so that is the translation. That is a default translation, by the way. So I select the same and then click OK. Now here I can rename this column. Okay, and then then I will deploy the cube. Now the cube is deployed, but while it's deploying, now let's go back to our Excel, right? So this is the Excel file. Let me bring the Excel file here. So yeah, this is the Excel file that connected to the cube already with the old name, right? So now let's go and see the cube deployment is completed. Now if I simply refresh the Excel file, you can see here the seller geo code column name will be automatically updated. See here, geocode seller. So since it's connected, the Excel file is directly connected to the multidimensional cube, the attributes automatically updated with old reference. But now what will happen to our MDX query? Now you can see here, I have prepared my MDX query with old name as well as with new name. So let me go ahead and bring the new name here. So now if I go and bring the new name, you can see here, it's still taking the old name. Even though I drag the column from left to right, still it's using the old name, because under the hood, we didn't change any name, right? Under the dimension structure, only we did the translation. So that's the reason the SSMS is actually still referring the old name, right? So now let's say, let me try to change this name manually and see what will happen. Okay. Seller. And then I'll use the same name. Execute. Now you're getting the no data, because this name is does not exist, right? But if at all somebody used it, even though it's the change that we applied, the translation that we applied only in the application level, only in terms of your visibility, the attribute name is renamed, but physically the name didn't change. Okay, so that's the reason when you drag this particular column, still it's referring the old name. Okay, so now if I execute this, then you get the results of the two queries, right? So this is how I handle the two cases. One is existed dimension attribute renamed. Okay, so even though I renamed it, the other users, right, whoever using the old attribute names, still they are not impacted. And then I use the special character names in my dimension attribute under the translation. Okay, so this is how I solve this business case. Okay, so that's all about this video. I'll see you in the next video with a different topic. Thank you.